Howdy, y'all. I guess you know now that I'm not from Portugal. My name is Mike Jones, and I'm with OutSystems. It's my pleasure to be here. Actually, the first time I ever came to Portugal, I was a guest of Portuguese Telecom, and it's a pleasure to be back. Thank you very much. OutSystems is a company based here in Portugal, and quite frankly is very proud of the fact that the engineering and the innovation that we bring to the market is Portuguese-based. Let me give you a little bit of history. The company was founded in 2001, so 11 years old. We've grown abroad, as you might expect. Main offices here in Lisbon. We have a remote development site in Prince Nova. We handle Northern Europe out of the Netherlands. Our North American headquarters are in Atlanta, Georgia. We have a Silicon Valley office out in San Ramon. And we're now expanding with dedicated support and offices in Brazil and South Africa through some distributors. Of course, a lot of our growth and success has come at the hands of key partners, which are very, very important. To give you a little insight into some of the numbers, the company itself, back in 2010, actually made a very challenging transition. We shifted our business model from, in the software industry, from a perpetual-based model to a subscription-based model. Usually that means a major dip in revenue and some hard times to come. You also notice that at that point in time, about 52% of our revenue came from Portugal. And we had about 111 employees. So we were growing. I joined the company in 2008. I was like 96th employee. So we hadn't grown a lot in a couple of years. These investments started to pay off in 2011. Now you may scratch your head and go, Mike, what's wrong with the numbers there? You actually did more revenue here in Portugal. Not really, actually. When we made that transition to a perpetual licensing model, from perpetual to subscription, we actually let our legacy customers here in Portugal continue with a perpetual model. So if you know how perpetual versus subscription licensing works, you realize that from a revenue perspective, we stayed high in Portugal as the rest of the world grew. So we actually started acquiring a lot of new customers. The investment we made in our marketing strategies, et cetera, the shift in the business model started to pay off. And as you see now in 2012, from a year-to-date perspective, 54% of our revenue is coming abroad. Only 46% is here. And we're effectively flat, even though the economy's tough here. From a revenue perspective in Portugal, we're what we were last year. I mean, the company's starting to really grow. We'll finish this year close to 200 employees. And probably most significant is that 54%, we've grown our revenue 54% this year over last year. So as a subscription-based company, this is booked. We're done for the year. Anything we do between now and December 31st is really revenue for next year. So we're in a very good position right now. The company's very healthy, and hopefully I have your attention. So let me tell you what we do. OutSystems is a software company that really is focused on one core thing: helping information technology organizations in both the public and commercial sectors really become an innovation center. Now that sounds like a lot of marketing hype, right? But if you think about it, and you just heard some awesome technologies, all of these technologies have to be brought in, assimilated, and effectively rolled out. And IT needs to play a key role in making that happen. And while there's a lot of stuff you can buy, at the end of the day, it requires a bunch of work to deliver that. There's a lot of software that gets wrapped around to make it applicable to your specific business. So what we do, how we help IT teams become innovation leaders within their business, is by helping them change the way they go about delivering custom software. Web applications, mobile applications, you name it. So I thought I would help explain this a little bit by stealing a model from our friends at Gartner. You all know the industry analyst firm. They like to talk about an architectural approach to building your applications to run your business. They talk about systems of record, systems of differentiation, and systems of innovation. And this is important because things happen differently at these different layers. Let's think about it for a second. At the bottom layer, the systems of record layer, this is where you typically buy commodity packages. You put in your SAP solutions, you buy Oracle or Salesforce.com or whatever it happens to be. They're things that are pretty stable and don't require a lot of change. Then, of course, they get extended for those processes that make you unique in your industry. And typically we see organizations handwrite this layer of application software using things like .NET or Java technologies. Then, of course, what's even more interesting that Gartner realized, which we think is quite interesting, is that the systems of innovation layer, at sort of the edge of the business, where new processes are being invented and technology is trying to be used to go after new markets and capture new customers, we find technologies are typically employed that let you build things really fast. We see SharePoint, a lot of Excel spreadsheets, stuff like that are out there. So while this is a nice architectural way to think of your application portfolio, it presents some challenges to the IT teams that we try to help. So let's think about that for a second. One, these applications all change, they evolve at different speeds. The systems of record tend to evolve fairly slowly, okay? You buy a package, you upgrade hopefully every couple of years, more likely every 10 to 15 years, right? But hopefully they move very slowly. The systems of differentiation evolve a little faster. They require more change, more investment from a change point of view. And then, of course, out on the edge, at the systems of innovation, these things move incredibly fast. This is today where you're seeing a lot of organizations make huge investments in mobile technology, whether it's for B2C type of environments or what we do is more business to employee type of capabilities. But these applications have to change almost daily because the business is inventing, trying to figure out the best way to empower this new process. Compounding the problem even more is that lots of times these people out on the edge that come up with a new process, that go after a new market, guess what? They get it right. So the technologies that they used, they have some problems. They typically don't scale very well. They aren't as secure as they need to be, and it's very difficult to use them to integrate with the systems of record. So it creates some burden because we end up having to rewrite those applications as they need to evolve into systems of differentiation. So the challenge is pretty simple, right? IT has to deliver incredibly fast. They need to build stuff that is built to change, so they got to change it even faster. And bottom line, they're trying to reduce long-term total cost of ownership because these applications, they're investments. And the investment to build the application is usually very small. The long-term cost of operating and changing that application is where the real money is. So that's where OutSystems comes into play. We deliver something called the Agile Platform. This is really a new way of building enterprise applications, web, mobile, on-premise, in the cloud. We empower you to do all of that. It's quick to start, so you can get started building something very, very fast. Spin up a cloud instance and off and running. It's fast to change. Everything that we do is built to change. It's a model-driven environment. You have to come talk to us, and I'll explain that later. And it's all enterprise grade. So if you start out at the edge building something quick and dirty that you're evolving very quickly and all of a sudden it becomes critical to the way you run your business, you're done. You don't have to rewrite that application. All you do is add some servers and we automatically scale it for you. So let's take a step back and look at how our technology really fits within the Gartner model. When it comes time to create one of these innovative applications out on the edge, we let you build it really fast and change it even faster. Then, as it becomes important to your business and needs to scale, the platform makes it simple, a single click. It's also highly secure and very easy to integrate with your systems of record. So that's what OutSystems is all about. I'll close with a couple of examples. We've had a lot of success at places like the U.S. Army. A great success story there. These guys looked at us as a pilot project. We ended up saying, hey, we can replace this application that you spent over 24 years, 24 months, a little more than that, to build originally. We delivered that application with a Web 2.0 front end, a mobile interface capability into their private cloud in 8 weeks. 2.5 years to build the first time with an army of people, 4 guys in 8 weeks. Charles River, large biopharma. The whole ERP just launched. There's a great video. I didn't bring it. I should have. They just put out a publicity video about this application built with our technology. In about 6 months, they delivered this solution that's everything from a customer portal that can interact with their scientists to engineer mice. Yes, these guys build mice for a living, for laboratory testing, to the system that has iPads on rolling charts and RFID scanners when they put their hands into incubators so they don't touch the animals, so they can interface with the application. It's an amazing piece of technology built in a very short period of time. And then probably the most public thing you can see is fly.com. A lot of you may have used that site to get your airline tickets to come visit with us today. It's a search meta engine technology built with the Agile platform. It's global. It does millions and millions of search transactions a day and running in a huge server farm, all built with our product. These guys release new versions of this application every 4 weeks to production. So if you want to learn more, we'll be outside afterwards. We'd love for you to come by and see us. Thank you.